What do petting zoos, kidney stones, and computers have to do with Big Thunder Mountain Railroad in Disneyland? Let's find out. Big Thunder Mountain Railroad in Disneyland is one of 4 total Thunder Mountains. The 3 others are in Magic Kingdom in Orlando, Tokyo Disneyland, and Disneyland Paris. Believe it or not, there was something before Big Thunder Mountain Railroad, but it actually looked pretty similar. Mine Train Through Nature's Wonderland. Now this was actually a much slower adventure. Basically you boarded a small little train and it took you through this Wild West town, not dissimilar to Big Thunder Mountain, but obviously much lower energy. Now there's actually a lot of nods to the original ride in Big Thunder Mountain. For example, the Western Village that you pass, it's got like the hotel and the saloon at the very end of Big Thunder Mountain. That was actually part of the original attraction and it was called the Village of Rainbow Ridge. In addition to that, the glowing tide pools that you pass on the first incline, a lot of the animal animatronics, and the spinning rock on another incline, those were all part of the original ride. Even the name is technically an ode to the original attraction. On the original attraction, you would pass a waterfall named Big Thunder, and yes, there was also a waterfall named Little Thunder, and so that's where Big Thunder Mountain Railroad gets the name. Now, if you think all of the scenery in Big Thunder Mountain looks familiar, it's because it's actually based on Bryce Canyon, which is a national park in Utah. So if you ever wanted to explore a western terrain that looks something like that, book yourself a ticket to Utah, but only after your Disneyland trip. So when the project began, it had a pretty famous Imagineer working on it, Tony Baxter. So Tony Baxter is working on this project, and pretty soon, this project actually gets put on hold. And the project gets put on hold because right now it's splitting resources between Big Thunder Mountain and another ride. And that other ride is another famous mountain, Space Mountain. So Space Mountain finishes first, and then they resume on Big Thunder Mountain. But this actually works out in the ride's favor. Why? Because by the time they resume to work on Big Thunder Mountain, they could actually start using computers to help aid in the design. That means that ultimately you got a smoother ride on Big Thunder Mountain, which actually comes in handy because there's a lot of moving back and forth and up and down. So the smoother the better, otherwise you end up with something like the Matterhorn, where afterwards I feel like I need a chiropractor. Speaking of needing a chiropractor, Thunder Mountain does have its fair share of dips and turns and things like that. But it actually only tops out at about 35 miles per hour. Really not that fast. When you consider how that feels going in a car, it's really pretty slow. In fact, Big Thunder Mountain, despite feeling quite fast, doesn't even make the top 10 list of fastest Disney attractions. Now, up until super recently, believe it or not, Big Thunder Mountain was actually accompanied by a petting zoo and an all-you-could-eat barbecue restaurant. And I, for one, loved that restaurant. I was super bummed when they decided to close it. But they closed it for pretty good reason. They needed the space to build something called Star Wars Galaxy's Edge. So, all in all, even though I loved all-you-can-eat barbecue, I'd say that net for net, it's probably a win. If for no other reason than getting Rise of the Resistance on the West Coast, which is amazing, and I should probably do a video on that too. Okay, as for Thunder Mountain is really fun to ride during the day. It's also really fun to ride at night. But here is my big pro tip for you. If you can time a fast pass for the time window where the fireworks are going to be going off, it is amazing to be on Big Thunder Mountain when the fireworks show is in progress. Because a lot of the sights and sounds of Big Thunder Mountain kind of go along with that, like the bursts and the bangs, but also the fireworks really light up the outside scenery really beautifully. It's really a pretty awesome experience to be on Thunder Mountain during the fireworks if you can time it, so definitely line up your fast pass with that if you can. Now, our final factoid tonight is all about kidney stones. That's right, kidney stones. In 2016, a dude named Dr. Wartinger actually did a study on Big Thunder Mountain because he had a bunch of patients that were coming back to him after trips to Disney World who had actually passed kidney stones. So he got to thinking, well, maybe there's some kind of correlation here, otherwise this is actually kind of weird. So, with Disney's permission, he actually designed a 3D model of a kidney, and he rode all these rides over and over again. Now, he actually found that in 70% of cases, riding Big Thunder Mountain did actually help pass kidney stones. He actually found similar results for Space Mountain and Rock and Roller Coaster as well. So, believe it or not, the next time your doctor says you have a kidney stone, you have a valid reason to book an immediate ticket to Disney World and ride those coasters non-stop. Okay, that does it for this edition of The Scoop on Disneyland's Big Thunder Mountain Railroad. I hope you learned a few cool things, and most of all, I really hope that you are able to ride Big Thunder Mountain during the fireworks at some point on a future visit. Thank you so much for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you in the next edition of The Scoop.